The rain had just stopped when Elena returned home earlier than expected. She hated surprises. She especially hated having her plans interrupted. But when the gallery director canceled their afternoon meeting last minute, Elena didn't complain. She welcomed the silence as she pulled into her gravel driveway, the familiar crunch under her boots grounding her. All she wanted was to slip into her robe, microwave last night's Thai takeout, and catch up on her reading before Harper came home. Harper, her girlfriend, we're taking it slow, girlfriend. The same Harper who had insisted they not move in together yet, and yet spent 5 nights a week at Elena's place. The same Harper who laughed like sunlight and kissed like secrets. Elena had been falling carefully, cautiously, but falling nonetheless. She opened the front door to the scent of jasmine and cedar, and laughter. 2 voices, one of them Harper's, the other too familiar. Elena's brows furrowed. She stepped in slowly, setting her keys down without a sound. Kitchen laughter ceased. Harper, Sophie, her friend, stood. Sophie, with her bare feet up on the counter, and Harper, in nothing but Elena's oversized linen shirt. They were kissing. Not a peck, not a mistake. It was slow, hungry, like something that had been building for a while. Elena stood there, invisible in her own home, for what felt like an eternity. Sophie's eyes met. A kiss shattered. Betrayal lingered. "Elena," Harper stammered, stepping back like a child caught with her hand in a forbidden jar. "What the hell is this?" Elena's voice was calm. Too calm. Neither of them spoke. "Elena, it's not what it looks like," Sophie tried. "It looks like you're kissing my girlfriend in my kitchen." Sophie's mouth opened, closed. Then, to Elena's disbelief, she laughed. A short, nervous, incredulous sound. "I didn't mean for this to happen," Harper said, eyes wide, pleading. "We were just talking and then you forgot which mouth belonged to you." Elena snapped. "Silence. I should go," Sophie muttered, slipping off the counter, grabbing her coat. But Elena's voice cut through the air like lightning. "No, stay." They both looked at her. Elena stepped into the kitchen. Her breath was shallow, her pulse thundering. She wasn't thinking. Or maybe she was thinking too clearly, too fiercely, too much in the moment. She looked at Sophie first, then Harper, then back to Sophie, and without warning, she stepped forward and kissed her. It wasn't soft. It wasn't tender. It was a kiss that tasted of betrayal and anger, and something more dangerous, curiosity. Sophie gasped against her mouth, then melted into it for just a second too long before pulling back. "Elena." But Elena didn't pause. She turned to Harper, who was trembling, breathless, and kissed her, too. This kiss was different, rougher, desperate, like she was asking questions through the press of lips, demanding answers with the flick of her tongue. When she pulled away, both women stared at her, wide-eyed, breathless. Elena's voice dropped to a whisper. "If you're going to destroy me, you better make it worth it." No one moved, not even the air. And then Harper stepped closer. So did Sophie. 3 hearts, 3 histories, 1 collision course, and the storm outside had only just begun. The silence after Elena's kiss was the kind that buzzed in the air like electricity before lightning, sharp, breathless, alive. Sophie was the first to move. She stepped back, pressing her palm flat to her chest as if to quiet her own heart. "Elena, that kiss, was that revenge?" she asked, her voice low, conflicted, her eyes darting between Elena and Harper. Elena didn't answer right away. She looked at Sophie like she was seeing her for the first time. Not as her best friend, not as the woman who stayed up late helping her paint her first apartment, not as the confidant who always brought wine and secrets, but as a woman who just kissed her girlfriend in her kitchen. "No," Elena said finally, her voice hoarse. "It wasn't revenge." Harper stepped forward, voice trembling. "Then what was it?" Elena turned to her. Harper looked small now, so different from the bold, radiant woman she had fallen for. She looked guilty. She looked shaken. But she also looked curious. And maybe even something more dangerous. Excited. "I don't know," Elena said. "But I know I didn't imagine that both of you wanted it too." Sophie ran her hand through her hair. "This isn't how it's supposed to go. I didn't plan to feel this, for either of you." Harper's eyes flicked to her. "Wait, either of us?" Sophie bit her lip. And then, slowly, she nodded. "I liked you first, Elena," she said softly. "For years, you were always unavailable. And then Harper came into your life and I hated her for weeks just because she got to kiss you." Elena's mouth fell open. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" "Because I didn't want to lose you." Harper was stunned, jaw slightly open. "You both liked each other? This whole time?" Elena nodded slowly. "I guess we just buried it." "And now it's all leaking out," Sophie whispered. No one knew what to say next. The truth sat on the floor between them, raw and exposed. Elena exhaled and leaned back against the counter. Her hands were trembling. "Maybe this was all a mistake," she muttered. "Maybe I should have screamed and kicked you both out." Harper stepped closer. "But you didn't." "No," Elena admitted, "because I don't know what I want right now." Harper swallowed. "I didn't come here today planning to kiss Sophie. It just happened. But when I saw you watching us, it wasn't guilt that hit me first. It was fear that I'd ruined something precious. And then you kissed her, and then me. And I felt something I've never felt before. Something like," she searched for the word, "possibility." Sophie looked at Harper, then back to Elena. "So what do we do now?" Elena shook her head, a bitter smile twitching at her lips. "You're both asking me? Like I've got this figured out?" "You've always had the compass," Sophie said. "Even when you were lost." The rain outside had returned soft now, tapping the windows like a reminder that the world was still spinning. Elena stared at them. Two women she had loved in very different ways. Two women who, somehow, wanted her. And maybe each other, too. And maybe that was the problem. Or maybe it was the answer. "Okay," she said finally. "No decisions tonight. No fighting. Just stay." Sophie blinked. "Stay?" Harper tilted her head. "All of us?" Elena nodded once. "Stay the night. No touching, no kissing, just exist. Let's see what it feels like." Sophie and Harper exchanged a glance, something heavy and intimate passing between them, and then they both agreed. The rest of the evening passed in strange harmony. Elena poured wine. Sophie picked a record. Harper helped cook pasta, barefoot in Elena's kitchen, like nothing had happened. But everything had. They laughed too loudly at dumb jokes. They sat too close on the couch. And when the night grew late, Elena gave Sophie her guest room, Harper her bed, and took the couch for herself. Except none of them really slept. 3 women, 3 hearts, and the quiet truth under it all. This wasn't an ending. It was a beginning of something wild and irreversible. And in the dark, each of them lay wide awake, wondering what tomorrow would dare to bring. Elena woke before dawn, tangled in the scratchy warmth of the couch blanket, her thoughts louder than any alarm. The house was still, but not peaceful. There was something electric in the air, like a match had been struck and left smoldering, waiting to become a blaze. She didn't sleep much. None of them did. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Harper's mouth on Sophie's, then hers on Sophie, then hers on Harper. And the way they both looked at her afterward, not like they were sorry, but like they were waiting. Elena tiptoed into the kitchen, more out of habit than need, and started the kettle. The sound of water boiling was oddly comforting. Then, from behind her, couldn't sleep? It was Sophie, wrapped in a loose sweater, hair messy, face open in a way that hurt to look at. "Nope," Elena murmured, without turning around. "You?" Sophie stepped beside her. "I slept in your guest bed and it felt like a lie." Elena exhaled through her nose. "Yeah, this whole thing feels like a lie and the truth at the same time." Sophie leaned on the counter, watching her. "If I asked you what you really wanted, right now, could you even answer?" "No," Elena whispered. "But I know I don't want to be without either of you." Sophie's eyes softened. "I was afraid you'd say that." Before anything else could be said, footsteps came from the hallway. Harper. She looked like sin wrapped in vulnerability, bare legs, oversized tee, eyes still heavy with the kind of sleep you fake. Her gaze darted between them. "Oh," she said. "I didn't mean to interrupt." "You didn't," Sophie said gently. The air shifted. Something invisible turned dense and slow and magnetic. Elena looked at both of them. "I can't pretend this didn't happen," she said. "And I don't want to lie to myself about what I felt last night." Harper stepped forward. "Neither do I." Sophie hesitated, then asked the question they were all dancing around. "So what now? We all keep kissing until someone breaks." Elena turned to face her fully. "Or we stop pretending we're afraid of what this could be." "You're talking about all three of us," Harper said. "Together?" Elena nodded. Slowly, Sophie folded her arms, but her voice cracked. "Do you even know how complicated that would be? People don't just do that." "I don't care about people," Elena said. "I care about this. Whatever this is." Silence fell again, but it wasn't hesitation this time. It was permission. Sophie stepped closer. "We can't promise forever." "I'm not asking for forever," Elena replied. "I'm asking for right now. For honesty. For permission to feel everything we're feeling without shame." Harper's hand brushed against Elena's, then reached for Sophie's. And Sophie didn't pull away. 3 hands linked in a triangle neither of them had imagined, but none of them wanted to let go of. That morning, they didn't go to work. They didn't go anywhere. Instead, they sat cross-legged in the living room, sipping coffee and talking. Really talking. About boundaries. About fear. About what this could become if they were brave enough to try. There were no grand declarations, no neat solutions, just the mess of emotion and honesty and the fire between them none of them could deny. When noon came, Sophie rested her head on Elena's lap while Harper played with her fingers. And for the first time in months, maybe years, Elena felt whole. Not split between people, not stretched between needs, but centered, held, home, and maybe, Just maybe, love didn't have to look like what they were taught. Maybe it could look like this: unwritten, unapologetic, unstoppable.